Have you ever sliced a man's throat with a butter knife and watched him bleed out? Hee. Me either. Bonelab has been out for more than a week now, and during that time, we've seen a lot of different opinions on the game. Some people loved it, some people hated it, and some people were indifferent to it. Did Bonelab live up to the hype, or did it crash and burn? Maybe our expectations were just unrealistic from the start. Personally, I had a really great time playing Bonelab this past weekend. I played a total of 10 hours in 2 days, man. I went through the entire campaign, tested out every single game mode, almost became legally blind, and I even figured out how to absolutely deck out my roster of avatars. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that Bonelab's perfect, because it just isn't. But I think they did a lot of things right in this game. I am going to break down the story, the structure, the physics, performance, and graphics of Bonelab. And obviously, you guys are going to get to see more of my awful Kermit the Frog impression. Anyways, enough of me talking. Let's get into the video. Enjoy. Fuck you, Morty. I'm gonna go and eat my ass. I can't even. This is fucking amazing. Let's start this video off by addressing some of the major issues that popped up in this game, which just so happens to be a lot of the same problems that Boneworks had. Climbing is slightly improved but still very janky. Using weapon holsters and interacting with objects continues to be a real bitch and a half. The game story is pretty vague and doesn't provide much narrative closure, and the puzzles honestly feel a bit dumbed down when compared to Boneworks. Lastly, a major gripe that I've seen floating around in the VR community is the fact that Bonelab is a mainstream VR game, yet there are no comfort settings for turning or locomotion. I personally had no issues with nausea while playing Bonelab, but then again, I am a VR YouTuber, so that doesn't really mean much coming from me. If you're new to VR, or you're even just an intermediate VR gamer, you will probably start to feel a little sick while playing Bonelab. Oh, it's perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. Been a long time coming. Just kidding. Somebody help me, please. Please, no, I have a wife and kids. No. What's going on here? Holy shit. Those motherfuckers tried to kill me. I've been the village doctor for like 69 years, dude. All the trepanation I do for these people, all the bloodletting. Little Timmy got half his face ripped off by a fucking wild boar, and I'm over here peeling the skin off of his ass cheek to give him a brand new face. And this is exactly what I fucking get. Can you believe that some people refunded this game, dude? Well, it is for a particular reason. The structure of Bonelab's campaign is a bit segmented. The first 30 or so minutes of the game's campaign leads you directly to the lab, an area dedicated to various minigames, sandboxes, as well as modding. In order to progress further into Bonelab's campaign, you need to try out all of the different areas in the lab and then complete a puzzle. However, I guess some VR players were a little impatient and thought that Bonelab's campaign ended as soon as they entered the lab. I think the developers are kinda to blame for this mix-up. I know that they were attempting to showcase this beautiful hub area early on in the game, which in my opinion is a great idea, but I don't think they took into account just how young and impatient the main demographic for Bonelab is. And with how much these kids are on TikTok nowadays, I'm not that surprised that they assumed the lab marked the end of the game. Get out of my swamp. I know a guy who knows a guy who London bridged another guy's wife with me, who heard of a guy that knew a guy. Better call Saul! Please stop, this is too much fucking fun. Why? I'm Batman. Alright, and you're gonna shit yourself on this one, but good chow. Look at that, 69 meters tall on the dot. Okay. Oh my gosh, bro. Literally the core of my nightmares.
Hi there. How do you feel about me busting a cap in your bitch ass?
The graphics and performance in Bonelab, if you're playing it on PC VR, are honestly really good. The volumetric lighting, ambient occlusion, screen space reflections, dynamic shadows, quality 3D models, and high resolution textures make playing Bonelab on your PC the way to go. I honestly can't speak to the Quest 2 exclusive version of Bonelab because I ended up buying Bonelab through Steam. Let's just say I'm currently working on a deal to get a Pico 4 headset. It turns out I may have dodged a bullet on that one. I've been hearing a lot of people say that Bonelab on the Quest 2 looks extremely muddy and has its fair share of performance issues such as frequent stuttering, crashes, and frame drops, none of which I experienced while playing Bonelab on PC. Ethically questionable? I ask myself that fucking question every time I post a video. Is what I'm doing ethically questionable?
Kermit's preferred method of killing is using a blade. We gotta dispose of the evidence, boys. Nobody can know that their favorite childhood puppet did this. No, that wouldn't be good for business. That'll have to do. Nobody'll know a thing.
Bonelab's physics are pretty intense. Excluding walls, ceilings, and floors, nearly every object in the game is physically driven and can be interacted with. Do you want to smash a Null's head in a doorway, finish him off execution style, and then catch the bullet casing in midair? You can do that. However, when it comes to your avatar's body, the physics can be pretty hit or miss. Trying to jump across or climb anything in Bonelab is more often than not a huge nightmare. Your hands will occasionally clip through walls or get caught in objects like ladders, and trying to pull yourself up ledges can be a little tricky if you aren't conscious of your foot placement.
I was born in the dark, molded by it. Hee.
Prepare thyself.
Prepare thyself. Look at these big long green fingers. I finger blasted your girlfriend last night with these babies. They don't call me the Green Punisher for nothing.
As for the story, from my understanding, you are essentially an NPC in Fantasyland who gained consciousness. Jimmy is an ex-NPC who is also conscious and broke free from the chains of mythos, then decided to create the Lava Gang, a group made for wanderers who want to limitlessly test their creativity. Jimmy notices that you are conscious, so he decides to help you seek revenge on Mythos and Fantasyland. He gives you a body log to help you accomplish your journey, then inducts you into the Lava Gang. And finally, you end the game by committing the very crimes that you were being hung for in the beginning of the game. Then Jimmy picks you up in a cab and drives you all the way back to the start, where he directs you to begin creating, which means that Bonelab is one big time loop where you play the game over and over again, infinitely testing your creativity as a member of the Lava Gang.
Yeah.
Let's go murder some people as Kermit. I can't believe this is possible. How's my Kermit voice? Should I keep doing that? Does that increase the immersion?
Should I whip out my green cock so you can take a video of that too, huh?
I just want to mention some of my favorite aspects of Bonelab. The soundtrack for the game is full of absolute bangers, man. The vibe and aesthetic of different levels and environments in Bonelab is extremely creative and very appealing to the eyes. The ability to change between different characters on the fly using your body log is a borderline revolutionary game mechanic that I kinda wish was in every VR game. And lastly, the possibilities for modding Bonelab are realistically endless. I can feel the cocaine running through my veins. What's going on here, boys? Little circle jerk, huh? Oh yeah. Bonelab is like a fine wine when it comes to VR games. If you're new to VR, you might not be able to appreciate it as much as a VR veteran. Despite some of Bonelab's issues, I genuinely think it is my favorite VR game to release this year. The amount of variation that is possible with modding, the amazing art direction, at times magical feeling physics, the large variety of game modes to mess around in, and a wonderfully constructed campaign make Bonelab the easiest 10 out of 10 that I have ever forgiven on this channel. If you're new to VR, play some other VR games first to get your bearings, and then play Bonelab. I promise if you do that, it will make you appreciate and enjoy Bonelab that much more. Anyways, that is the end of the video, my dudes. I know this one was a bit longer than usual, but I had a lot of stuff to cover. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it still. Have an amazing rest of your weekend. I am definitely gonna go touch some fucking grass after making this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!